Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to another Sensory Lifestyle Live. Today we will be talking about how you can strengthen your child's core through everyday play. So before we get into kind of like how to do it, I think it's important to know why is it important to have strong core. Well, basically, our core is the anchor for everything that our body does. It is the foundation for both the stability and movement. So, what does that mean? Basically, when we engage our core muscles, we're able to have that stability. So, we're able to be still when we are sitting at the table, or, kind of having that good upright posture and not kind of be collapsing down. It also provides that stability in movement. So you're able to complete your movements while having that stability and balance. So for example, if you're wanting to pick up a cup from a cupboard, your body would engage that core, so then you're easily able to use your hands, pick up that cup, and then take it without using your balance. So it really does help to support your balance and your coordination. It is part of everything that we and your kids do. They use their core during play. It allows them to use their hands freely, so they are able to then use their pencils or scissors or do any of those craft things. They're able to easily use utensils when they're eating, and they're able to maintain that balance and coordination when they're getting dressed. So basically, it's part of everything that we do. And the stronger our cores are, the easier all these things become. So if you have challenges in the core, all these other things become much more challenging. Now, what is the core? The core is basically a group of muscles that are kind of closest to the bone and the axis of movement. So it includes the inner core includes like the diaphragm, then the pelvic floor, and the abdominal muscles. And what happens is before movement, the diaphragm activates. That's the one that kind of engages first, and then starts activating all the other core muscles to kind of create that stability. So having that strong diaphragm is also very important for that stability. Now, if you ever wondered, I wonder how my child's core is, right? As an occupational therapist, there's a lot of different tools that I can use to evaluate if your child is a weak core. However, if you want to kind of see if there's something that you can check, there's a couple of things that I'll give you today that you can yourself do with your kiddo and just see how their core is. So the first one is how they go by standing on one leg. When you stand on that one leg, you really need to engage that core and have that stability, right? So standing on one leg, a 3-year-old should be able to stand on one leg for up to 3 seconds without too much swaying. A 4-year-old should be able to stand on one leg for 5 seconds without too much swaying. And then a 5-year-old should be able to stay for 10 seconds without too much swaying. Another way that you can check, and this is kind of for the kind of a little bit of older kiddos, is through a movement that we call supine flexion, where pretty much your child lies down on the floor and they curl up into a ball. So what we want is the knees coming up to the chest, the arms going across the chest, and the head being lifted off the ground, and then chin tucking towards the chest. What you're watching for is how long your child is able to maintain that position, as well as whether they kind of just collapse or whether that neck kind of goes up. So sometimes they can still hold the posture for a little bit, but the neck kind of starts going. So even when the neck starts going, that's kind of when you would consider that they start collapsing in the position. Now, a 4-year-old should be able to kind of maintain that position for around 10 seconds. A 5-year-old for around 25 seconds, a 6-year-old for 46 seconds, and a 7-year-old for 68 seconds. So those are kind of the averages. So those are the kind of 2 things that you can do. So now that you know why it's important and what it is and what it does, let's talk about how you can support your child's strength development. So what can you do? And there's a lot of everyday play things that your kids can do just to naturally be strengthening those core muscles. Now, you've heard me say that diaphragm is super important, and it's one of those core muscles that kind of engages first and then activates the other ones. So it's important to have that strong core. Now, a lot of kids who do have weak cores, they kind of tend to even hold their breath. So we want to really get that breath moving. So the way we can do this is through breathing games that kind of allow the child to have a longer exhale than inhale. So if they breathe, let's say breathe in for the count, 2 seconds, you want them to be breathing out for 3 or more seconds. So some of the ways that you can do is through, whistles and kazoos where they play. And the important thing is that they don't do those very quick kind of blowings. You want to see, okay, let me see how long you can whistle for. And then they go, try to make it for as long. You can even time it, or, maybe they can have competitions, whatever kind of would work for your kiddo. Then the same thing, there's musical instruments, flutes and harmonicas. They can play that and look at kind of extending those. Blowing bubbles is absolutely awesome as well. And it's all not just like blowing the, a lot of tiny little bubbles. See if they can blow big bubbles. So that will encourage that longer exhale, right? Another one, a really fun one for breath is a bubble snake activity. I'm not sure if you have seen my YouTube channel. I have a video of how to do it. But basically, it's a bottle with a sock on top of it. And this particular, so what you do is you cut the end of it, and then you put a sock on top of that, and then you dip the end into bubble lotion. So when you dip this, and then what you do once you dip it, then you blow. And what happens is from this side comes out this really cool bubble snake. Now, the longer you blow, the longer the snake will become. So I feel like it becomes quite motivating for the kids to be blowing longer. So definitely check out my YouTube channel and look for the bubble snake. But here it is. Okay, so then after we've got kind of the breath growing, we want to do activities that involve rolling. That also helps to kind of engage that core. So simple things like rolling down the hill, it's pretty awesome. If you want an extra challenge or the kid wants an extra challenge, see if they can roll up the hill. That would be quite intense. Then, you can set up bowling pins and they can roll and try to knock them over. Or you can play tag by rolling. So one person starts rolling and running away from the other person that starts a little bit behind them and starts rolling and trying to chase them as well. That could be super fun. Then you want activities that include resistance. So those are great where you play kind of tug of war, with the towel over rope. You can do also like a pillow tug of war. So you basically grab a pillow, the child grabs a pillow and tries and holds it as hard as they can. And then you come up and then you try to rip that pillow out. So they really need to engage that core as they're holding that pillow, and then you're trying to kind of pull it out from them. And then, of course, you can swap turns, and your child can pull the pillow out from you. And of course, you can provide definitely variants of resistance depending on the skill as well. Rumbling is also pretty awesome to kind of strengthen that core, as well as one of my favorite activities, pushing down the statue, where you go on all fours and the child tries to kind of push you over and knock you down to the ground. This is fun, and again, you can also grade the resistance that you're providing for your child, which is really fun. Then, leg elevators and arm elevators. So this is a fun activity that you can do even before bed or in the mornings or any other times. But basically it includes your child kind of bringing their hands, kind of bending them and bringing them up like this. And then you go and you put your hand on top of them, and then the child tries to kind of push you over or push you down or push you away from them. And then the same thing with their legs, where they bend their legs and then you put your hands on their feet and they try to kind of kick you away from them. Best to do it where there's pillows and things like that. That's why I was kind of saying a bed is a pretty fun one, or outside with this kind of soft ground to do it. Then just lifting heavy things also kind of engages that core. So playground provides lots of opportunities for carrying heavy buckets of water or sand, and obviously the bigger the bucket and the more filled it is, the heavier it is. You can also, when you go on adventures, having the kids to carry their own backpacks with water and snacks. Also, any kind of pushing and pulling activities are pretty awesome, and they can just, a fun one at the beach is, or on picnics, if you already have those blankets or towels and you kind of load it up with heavy stuff, or another, a person, and they try to move them around, or move the load around, or just even like pushing, pulling logs, or lifting those heavy logs or rocks. There's just so many opportunities outside for them to kind of strengthen that core. Other things that you could do, climbing is really fun, where you're just climbing trees, rocks, playground structures. A fun one to do is climbing up the slide, because that actually requires quite a lot of strength. So if there's nobody around on the slide, definitely get your kiddos to go up the slide and really strengthen that that core. Also, when you're just picking things up from the floor, that's that kind of the squatting engages the core. So where they, they can be collecting things from the floor. If they're drawing, with the chalk on the floor, make sure they kind of do the nice squatting versus just sitting down. That would definitely be engaging that core. Fort building, pretty awesome. You can do inside the house with blankets, or moving heavier furniture around. Outside with logs and sticks and all that. Then you can do different animal walks, and you can do like those crab walks, and you can even do like a crab soccer for a bit of the older kids that really needs to engage that that core. Snake slither is a fun one, where you pretty much lie down with the hands to the side, and then you kind of try to move around. You can even have races with that. Rock climbing, so some of the playgrounds have those rock walls. Those are good ones to kind of go on, because the little small surfaces that they have to put their feet on, it kind of really helps to engage that core. Also, wheelbarrow walking races, that would be fun, or just simply by riding bikes or jumping on the jumping rope, swimming. They're really good ones. If you're looking for some toys, some fun things that you could do, get your kids, is those exercise balls. They're really fun. Just sitting on it and bouncing on it up and down really kind of needs to engage the core. And because the ball is mobile, needing to kind of secure it with your body, you really need to kind of get those muscles working really hard. Having balloons are really fun. I mean, there's the balloon volleyball that you can use, but also to make it a little bit more challenging, so a little bit for those older kids, you can do like a frog volleyball. So they kind of get into like the frog squat, and they need to play volleyball or hit the balloon in that kind of squatting position. That would be quite tricky. And then use of ropes. Ropes are really fun, and you might have seen on the live ad my kids playing with ropes. It's kind of one of their favorite tools that they like to do, and they use those ropes and kind of digging. It's kind of their favorite thing, and digging is also that heavy work which engages the core. But with the ropes, you can tie it around that tree, make different rope swings. You can tie it to logs, and they can try to pull it around, or hook it behind rocks, or tie it around rocks, or see if they can climb up on that. And it's a lot of problem solving and all those additional wonderful skills that your kids will be gaining while strengthening their core. So I think I gave you quite a bit of different types of activities that you could do, that your kids can do basically while they're playing. Outdoors is definitely a wonderful environment which provides a lot of opportunities for those various and unstructured plays, which really is wonderful for kind of strengthening that core. But that is it for me for today. If you have any comments or anything, let me know. Now, I will be gone for the next 2 weeks, so I will not be able to do my lives. But in the meantime, if there's any specific topics that you would like me to cover, please leave a comment here or write me a message, and I'll do my very best to cover and do a live about that. Okay, so that's it for me. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in a few weeks' time. All right, take care. Bye.